So before I get absolutely wrecked in this video, I just want to preference by saying these are my opinions, and I actually love both of these series. I've been following My Hero Academia since inception, April 3rd, 2016. I'm always caught up to date whenever the Viz Jump comes out with a new chapter. I've just recently started reading Unordinary though, and it really has brought to light some of the issues that I've seen in My Hero Academia and how they're not really played out in Unordinary. So once again, I love both of these series a bunch. I love them both. I just think that Unordinary is a better series than My Hero Academia, and these are just my opinions. So these are some of the reasons why I believe that Unordinary is better than My Hero Academia. So reason number one is that My Hero Academia lacks that X Factor character. So what do I mean by that X Factor character is like a character that is really mysterious and can really just change the narrative in just one go. And whenever a story is happening, the reader has just them in the back of the mind. Oh, will this X Factor character finally come into play? So an example of an X Factor character would be like from One Piece, Shanks. You know, he's always super hyped. Everyone's like, oh, Shanks is really strong. But we really don't know anything about him. And that mystery really helps with the narrative because in any given moment, the author has that card to pull and be like, oh, Shanks, and everyone just, goes crazy. Another character that would be an X Factor character would be like in Seven Deadly Sins, Escanor. Escanor is this X Factor character. He's not as mysterious, but he's super goddamn strong, and it's just super hype whenever he comes on. And it's just that character that like you have like in this show where like, oh, you know what? If everything goes to hell, we at least still have that guy, like that last ray of hope, and that really hype card that actually makes sense in the story that the author can actually pull out and really hype up the story and narrative. So My Hero Academia actually used to have that X Factor character. I would say that X Factor character wasn't All Might, but you know what happened to All Might. So what I think that does the narrative is that it has to force the main character to be put in positions where it realistically just doesn't make sense. Like I understand that Deku has one for all. However, it's crazy. He's like a first year and he's on the front line fighting literally the strongest villains. And it's crazy. Like he is a first year still. Like or borderline second year. Like that's crazy. He is in his first day. He's like 16, bro. Like what the hell? He's 16 and he's fighting the strongest villain. Are you saying the society is this incompetent? They need this kid in his first damn year just fighting the strongest freaking villains? Like that's crazy. So Unordinary actually has X Factor characters. Firstly, it's in the Vigilance that we haven't really been introduced yet, but we also have the characters that have been, like such as the blue hair dude. It's not really a kind of spoiler, but unless you actually been reading it, you don't really know what I'm talking about. And it's just these characters that are in the background that are really mysterious, and they could be implemented into the story at any given time because they've been already introduced, and actually, there's a lot of story already behind them if you've been paying attention to the details. So reason number two is that Unordinary is a more realistic story with both more realistic characters and more realistic, plots. So starting with the characters, this applies to not only the main characters but also the side characters. In My Hero Academia, these kids are goddamn like 16, bro. I get they're in like this elite school for superheroes, but it's just unrealistic to how like unwieldy and like how motivated these kids are and how they just never ever get discouraged. Like in certain fights, they just always know what the hell to do. They're always like on the right track to succeed, and they just don't really ever show a lot of fear. They show fear, but they always somehow push through and like have this unwieldy will to just keep going and just go past their limits, like plus ultra. Like it's pretty cool. What number? They're 16. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can't relate to that. Like it's crazy that these kids, all of them, freaking even Mineta, dude. Like come on, Mineta, you gotta be memeing right here. Even he goes plus ultra. Like they never give up, and they're always having the best mindset to succeed. Juxtapose that with Unordinary, where you actually see in the story these kids, their mindset during battles. They're like, there's this one specific part where I'm not gonna spoil, but like it's a really hard fight, and this character is like, holy crap, why am I here? I am actually going to die. I am an idiot. And he starts making mistakes. This is such a realistic thing. It's like if I was in a situation where I really went in and went way over my head to fight a villain that's way stronger than me, I would be like, holy crap, why did I do that? I'm going to die. And I would probably make mistakes. I probably wouldn't be like, yo, plus ultra. And then really just go ham mode. And number, just bring it up. Mineta, come on, bro. You gotta. Why is Mineta in that school, by the way? That's the whatever. That's not no. Now, also looking at the plot, I know My Hero Academia actually says in the beginning they're like set 1,000 years in the future. One of the things I just never really understand was like, dude, their technology like sucks. Like it's 1,000 years later. You guys have freaking quirks and all this stuff. So like, I don't know how you guys are so behind on everything. Your society, come on. You got all these quirks. You gotta do something with all that stuff. Um, yeah, I think it's a lot more realistic and unordinary because if you really look into nuances, the world in Unordinary is a lot of things hiding in it, and it's like it makes sense why certain things are like that. Like slight spoiler, like it's pretty. It makes sense like after all this time why the government has so much power. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Reason number three, I think that Unordinary explores darker themes, which I think are really interesting and really, I personally enjoy learning about them. So, some of the darker themes that Unordinary explores is really about the natural hierarchy of life. Now, I understand that My Hero Academia actually portrayed Sasa, but I think it's portrayed a lot better in Unordinary because you literally just see those people who are literally quirkless, in a sense, just have the worst life ever. Like after just reading like the life that they go through, like it sucks. And they go really like into the mental like mindset of these people, like how they're always defeated and they can never trust the people above them. And just even the school itself, there's always this constant fear of the hierarchy. And I really like that theme because it basically parallels our real life world. Another theme that I really enjoy that is explored in Unordinary is, the mental health of all these people. You know, I don't want to go into too much spoilers, but literally you can see every character, and what I really like is they really explore the mental thinking behind most of the characters in the school actually, and you can really see how it's like, oh, before and after. They used to have this, but maybe they don't have that anymore, and how does that affect them? It's really interesting to see like, oh, the main character used to be like this and now they're like this, and it affects them, and you can see in the actions that they do like, wow, this is actually affecting John. Like you can see, oh, this is actually affecting whatever. So it's a very good thing to see. Just it's realistic character development, if I have to like put a word to it, because the stuff that these kids go through, it's really bad, and it's like it's not realistic for them to be like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going, because no, they're kids, they're young, and they really take it to heart, and they really start thinking really bad thoughts. And then we talk about government, and I think that is super interesting in the story, because I mean, My Hero Academia kind of touches on the government, but it's really really pushed in Unordinary, and you really get to understand like, holy crap, like this world is really unfair, and you can definitely see like, wait a second, this 1984 feel of this world is a little bit similar to ours, and it's like a pretty dark theme to be exploring. And I think they do a really good job at really painting the picture. Reason number four, I think that Unordinary just has better characters than My Hero Academia too. Now, once again, I love My Hero Academia, dude. Like, I freaking love most of the characters they have. I just think that Unordinary just has a better cast, and I think it's partially through because we get to really understand all of them individually. Like, I know in My Hero Academia we explore like Froggy like a few times, but you never get just like one panel or one chapter about a character in Unordinary. You get like a full story about like why they got to how they are, and you really get to understand these characters. And honestly, like at the end of it, you could start rooting for any one of them because you understand their thought process, and you're like, oh, I can kind of understand why you thought this was correct, and I can understand why you did things that you thought you should do. I also really love how they are always interacting with other characters that aren't as important, and that really shows like the character of the person in question. Like all the side characters, you can always see them interacting with other characters, and it's really interesting to see how all of them have their separate mindsets in talking to other people. Because remember, all these characters they're in a hierarchy, and they're pretty high up in the hierarchy, and it's interesting to see like their thoughts and their ideals communicated in their actions. And you can see, oh, when they talk to this, cripple, what are they going to say to that cripple? And it's a very interesting way to understand the characters, and it's not really just about the speech and like the text in the series where it's telling you, oh, this character is funny, this character is smart. No, it shows you like, oh wow, Arlo is a pretty smart guy. Oh, Arlo is really sad about that, or John is really sad about that, and you get to understand the characters, their train of thought, and you get to understand them as people. Reason number 5: Unordinary avoids common tropes of Viz manga in general. Actually, like the tropes of like miscommunication causing tons of problems, or the fact that even though the main character has done all these crazy things, no one ever gives them acknowledgement. Like, for example, we do realize Deku, a first year, has beaten Overhaul and has also beaten Musclehead, right? Like that's crazy. I'm pretty sure Endeavor couldn't beat Overhaul. Like I'm pretty sure these characters are so damn powerful that the pro heroes in society would not be able to beat them. And it makes zero sense. Like Aizawa knows that Deku has beaten them. And it's just like everyone knows. And it's just like how does the society not just be like, yo, that kid is crazy. Like that kid's popping off. Like how is that kid not hyped up more as like freaking an NBA player is hyped up in college? It's like, you know, that kid just beat someone that a pro hero could not, and he was goddamn flying. Like what the hell? Like did we are we just gonna ignore that? That's one of the things I really love about Unordinary. Whenever something crazy happens, everyone talks about it. You actually hear a lot of gossip around the school, and everyone's like, "Wait, that just happened." Like everyone knows the story, and everyone just starts talking about it, and there's new implications every time something crazy happens. So those are my reasons for why I believe Unordinary is a better series than My Hero Academia. I know that both of these series haven't ended yet, so it could change my opinion depending on the endings of these series. But as it stands currently, I think Unordinary is super underrated, deserves the anime, and is a better series than My Hero Academia. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on whether you think Unordinary is a better series or not than My Hero Academia. Or I'd just like to hear you guys' thoughts on what you guys think about my reasoning and whether they're too subjective, if that even is a thing for opinions, or I'm being unfair to My Hero Academia. But yeah, definitely comment below, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this topic. I love both these series, and I would love just talking about either of them. Bro, how is Invisible Girl or Mineta in that damn school?